Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a managing partner, a marketing director, or a business owner at an accounting or bookkeeping firm, you probably assume your local reputation speaks for itself, right? I mean, you've spent decades building trust in your community. But today, we're going to look at what happens when an entire local market completely neglects the exact platform prospects check first. Picture this. One firm has 33 reviews and a 4.9 rating. The other 10? A literal graveyard of unclaimed profiles and unanswered complaints. I'm going to take you through the explosive premise of an afternoon I spent auditing every single accounting firm, all 11 of them, in one English commuter belt town. We are going to see exactly who controls the local digital landscape, and honestly, more importantly, who doesn't. Okay, let's dive right into this.
So here's what I found. It's like night and day. On one side, you have one lone dominant firm sitting pretty with 33 reviews, a 4.9 rating, active owner responses, regular posts, and photos. Against them, a graveyard of neglected competitors, 10 invisible firms. And it gets worse. Among them, 5 profiles haven't even been claimed, and 7 have absolutely 0 or near 0 reviews. This is an investigative look into what happens when nobody shows up on Google, except for one competitor who simply decides to take the whole pie. One winner, 10 ghosts.
All right, let's get into Chapter 1, the anatomy of invisibility.
When we do a forensic breakdown of these invisible firms, the errors are, quite frankly, catastrophic. Take Firm F. Now, this is a firm with serious credentials. We're talking ACCA-regulated, Chartered Institute of Taxation. But they have multiple critical reviews online, and every single one of them is complaining about communication issues. And their response? Total silence. 0 responses. By ignoring these critical reviews, they are literally proving the exact communication issues their clients complained about. Or look at Firm A, registered auditors, 2 offices. One of their offices has a 1.0 rating from a single negative review that's just been sitting there unanswered for 2 whole years. And because both of their profiles are completely unclaimed, they couldn't even respond if they wanted to.
And you know, it's not just the negative reviews that are being ignored. Take Firm B. They've been on the town's main square for over 50 years. 50 years! Yet they only have 3 reviews, sitting at a 3.7. 2 years ago, a happy client went totally out of their way to leave this glowing review. Efficient, friendly, and accommodating. And the firm's response? Absolutely nothing. Even the firms that try, well, they fail. Firm E is a 0 silver partner. They have 2 warm review replies, but they're both 2 years old. Today, their credentials and services are completely invisible to anyone doing a search.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the disconnect between marketing and reality. Firm I's website boldly promises fast response times. Sounds great, right? But the moment a prospect actually searches for them, they see the exact opposite story. 7 individual clients call them exceptional, leaving 5-star reviews. Yet the owner hasn't replied to a single one of them. It is crickets. Think about it. If you are a prospect evaluating this firm, what are you going to believe? The slick marketing copy on the website or the visible silence on the platform you actually trust?
Then we have Firm C. They are a specialist in a specific client niche with over 20 years of experience. I mean, this is a massive, genuine offline differentiator that most firms would kill for. But on Google, their biggest selling point is completely invisible. Their 2 5-star reviews from years ago are unreplied to, and their specialism just vanishes into thin air. Firm H, over 30 years of experience, 0 certified, but they have 0 reviews and a completely blank description. Just a name and an address. And Firm J, ACCA credentials for 24 years, yet completely unclaimed with 0 reviews. That's over 2 decades of expertise, totally invisible to the market.
Moving on to Chapter 2, the pattern in numbers.
The systemic market failure here is just staggering. Out of 11 firms in this town, 5 have unclaimed profiles. Another 5 have exactly 0 reviews. Only 2 firms have active owner responses, and only 1 single firm has a filled business description. How many have their services actually listed? 0. How many have professional credentials visible on their profiles? 0. We are talking about decades of local expertise, and fundamentally, nobody is telling the market about it. The basic professional credentials and services are universally absent across almost the entire town.
This really emphasizes the ultimate consequence. That dominant firm, they're sitting pretty at 33 reviews. The average of the other 10 firms, just 2.1 reviews. And remember, most of those have too few to even mathematically matter. Here's the crazy part. We have no way of knowing if that dominant firm is actually the best accountant in town. They are simply ruthlessly crushing the rest of the market for one reason, because they showed up, completed their profile, and asked their clients for reviews. That's it.
One firm captured virtually all the social proof. Which brings us to Chapter 3, the modus operandi.
So how exactly does a local market fail this spectacularly? Well, there are 6 fatal flaws creating this dynamic. 1. Unclaimed profiles. 2. Zero review collection. Even Firm G, which actively manages its profile and recently updated its description, has 0 reviews, no social proof at all. 3. Unanswered reviews, making profiles look completely abandoned. 4. Empty descriptions. Think about this. 10 out of 11 firms left their 750-character business descriptions completely blank. 5. Missing services. Firm D is the only firm that consistently replies to reviews, but they are missing a basic phone number on their profile. Google literally prompts visitors to add one for them. And finally, number 6, legacy ghost profiles.
I really want to hammer this number home for a second. 5 out of 11 firms in this local market haven't even taken the foundational step of claiming their business listing. That is nearly half the town. They do not control their own Google presence. They can't respond to reviews, they can't update information, and honestly, what's worse is that someone else could just swoop in and claim it.
But perhaps the most dangerous flaw of all is number 6, legacy ghost profiles. Multiple firms had old names from past mergers or predecessors still floating around live on Google, totally unclaimed and uncontrolled. Firm K, for example, holds rare investment credentials, but their legacy predecessor firms are still live, completely fragmenting their search presence. Guys, this is a massive hidden danger. It fractures a brand's reputation, it confuses prospects, and it leaves an open vulnerability out there on the web with your history attached to it.
Okay, Chapter 4, the 6-point survival guide.
So what does this all mean for you? Look, even if you don't practice in this specific commuter town, your risks are identical. I want you to open an incognito window right now, search for your firm, and run this immediate survival check. Just ask yourself these 6 simple questions. 1. Is your profile claimed? 2. Do you have reviews from the last 6 months? 3. Have you replied to every single review, both positive and negative? 4. Is your business description filled out using all 750 characters? 5. Are your services actually listed? And 6. Are there legacy profiles from past mergers still out there live on the web?
Now, here are your strict, actionable deadlines. If you answered no to any of the first 5 points, meaning you haven't claimed your profile, collected reviews, replied to them, filled your description, or listed your services, fix it this week. It takes minutes, and it's totally free. But if you answered yes to point 6, meaning you have a legacy ghost profile sitting out there uncontrolled, fix it immediately. Find it, claim it, and merge it or mark it permanently closed. An unclaimed legacy profile is a reputation risk you simply do not control, and you cannot afford to leave it out there.
Let's pull back for Chapter 5, the bigger picture. See, this isn't just a fun little story about one isolated market town. Over 300. That is how many UK accounting firms the author of this source material has audited. And across those 300+ audits, this exact pattern of digital invisibility is not an anomaly, it is the norm. The market town we just broke down is playing out in every single local market right now.
And this brings us to the ultimate realization. Most firms out there have strong local reputations, impressive credentials, and super happy clients, but their Google profiles show absolutely none of it. The firms that went on Google are not the best accountants. They're just the ones who claimed their profile, wrote a quick description, listed their services, and asked a few clients for reviews. Winning local online traffic requires minimal but consistent, active management. The bar is literally on the floor.
So if you want to make sure your firm isn't leaving its digital front door wide open, you really need to check out Vin My Business. They specialize in Google business profiles exclusively for accounting and bookkeeping firms. You can get a free GBP scorecard where they will personally review your profile to show you exactly what's missing. Just go to vinmybusiness.com/scorecard.html. They also publish some fascinating deep dives on their blog at unclaimed.bearblog.dev, and they offer a totally free 17-lesson masterclass at unclaimed.bearblog.dev/free GBP masterclass for accounting firms. We've seen what happens when an entire market assumes its reputation just speaks for itself. One firm shows up and they take everything. So take a hard look at your own local digital landscape. When a prospect searches for accounting services in your town today, are you the dominant firm or are you just another ghost?